Are you feeling like a zombie lately? Tired of the same old energy drinks promising the world but delivering the jitters and a crash? Look no further than Sneak Energy, your secret weapon for all your energy needs. With all natural ingredients, Sneak will give you all the energy you need to boost through your day without feeling like a lab rat on caffeine. Don't believe us? Try it yourself and see what a difference it can make to your routine. So what are you waiting for? Hit the link in the description and pick up your Sneak Starter Pack today. Now enjoy the clip. Just going back to what Charlie and a couple of people were saying, if you didn't watch the show yesterday afternoon, it was well worth a watch. United GBG says, I'm going through all your Going for Goldbridge videos. It looks like looking into a treasure trove. It's a very good channel to watch back on if you want to go on my Mark Goldbridge channel. There's some really good stuff on there, actually. Anyway, I wanted to just go through that comment there from Charlie, who's a regular contributor to the chat. I'm sure many of you know who Charlie is. Yesterday, a quote came out from Harry Maguire where he said he doesn't have anything to prove. He's played 50 times for England. He's played 200 times for Manchester United, and he's the captain. I wasn't very happy about it. I don't think anybody was. I've seen journalists that are very pro Maguire saying, you know, it was out of order. Fair play. You know, there's always two sides to a story. I did that video yesterday, and a couple of people quote tweeted me with a quote from David De Gea saying he doesn't have anything to prove. And basically, you know, typically is the way the world works. You know, everybody's red light or green light. So I'm a hypocrite for saying that Harry Maguire shouldn't say it when David De Gea said it. My answer is really simple. David De Gea shouldn't have said it. No Manchester United player should be saying I've got nothing to prove. No, they shouldn't. So when De Gea said it, maybe I missed it at the time. Maybe I didn't think much of it at the time. Maybe there was some context to it at the time. But I did, you know, I said it yesterday, I don't care whether you're Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, David De Gea, saying publicly you've got nothing to prove is wrong in a Man United shirt. It's always wrong. However, there is a world of difference between Harry Maguire saying I've got nothing to prove in a Man United shirt and David De Gea saying I've got nothing to prove in a Man United shirt. David De Gea has won multiple Player of the Year awards. He is without question a United great. Wherever you put him on the spectrum, whether it's legend or great, he's definitely there. And if anybody hasn't got anything to prove, it's David De Gea, because he's been here for over 10 years, performing for 10 years. And I think sometimes David De Gea gets criticism, which he probably thinks, I'm not going to listen to the criticism because I don't need to listen to it. I've got nothing to prove to those people. There's context to it. I don't like the statement I've got nothing to prove in a Man United shirt, because I think you've always got to prove something. But I think the context of David De Gea's is very different to that of Harry Maguire's, who has never proved himself in a Man United shirt to me. I don't like the statement from De Gea whenever it was said, but it's the context of it is very, very different, because you've got a player that's proved themselves multiple times over many years and a player who never has. So I don't like the statement, but comparing them as the same thing is ridiculous. You know, it's completely wrong. So I'm more than happy to hit it head on, because I got quote tweeted by a couple of people, but I think you're showing yourself up as an idiot if you think that David De Gea saying he's got nothing to prove and Harry Maguire saying he's got nothing to prove is the same. It's not the same. It's completely different, because it shouldn't be said by either, but David De Gea has got credit in the bank. You know, Harry Maguire's overdrawn, and it's time to kick him out. I think. I hope Harry Maguire has a good end to the season and goes. Maybe there's a miracle where he can turn it around and become a world-class centre-back. But I've got to say, as a footballer for Man United, it's just not very endearing. I don't want him to play games for us anymore anyway. I don't think he's good enough. And I think the way he speaks publicly, you know, not only is he not easy on the eye when he plays, his comments are nauseating. And I just don't know where his head is at the moment. It's just weird, the stuff he comes out with, and he doesn't do himself any favours, does he? And that's all I'm going to say. Jay says, my friend visited Old Trafford. He said Ten Hag doing a great job. Stadium looks old and rusting, says Jay. Thank you very much for that, Jay. There's actually, I mean, it's a Sunday morning, so you do sometimes get some weird stories out there. We have been linked to Evan Ferguson, who is obviously this Irish superstar of the future, I believe, playing at Brighton at the moment. Scored, I think, for Ireland midweek when we were over there. Fantastic talent. I really would like United to be going for him. Brighton would want a premium, but we've done this in the past, and we need to start doing this. We did it with Rooney from Everton. We did it with Rio Ferdinand from Leeds. There are other players we've done it where we've spent big on young, exciting talents from the Premier League, and I think Ferguson is a player I would really like. But we've also been linked this morning with a guy called Rasmus Højlund, I think his name is. He's currently, I think he's 20 years of age, just over 6 foot. He's playing his football in Atalanta in the Italian league at the moment. I think they signed him last summer from Sturm Graz, I think it was, via Copenhagen. Really interesting profile of striker. I've not seen loads of him, but I know a lot of you in the chat have. Apparently Manchester United have been interested in him. He would be very interested in signing for Manchester United. You know what? For me, this is just another positive. We want Osimhen. Some people want Kane. Some people want Sesko. Some people want Moani, who we spoke about yesterday. But look, there are a lot of talented strikers out there. We just mentioned Ferguson at Brighton. There's this lad at Atalanta. I think it's an interesting profile of a striker. He's raw. I think he's raw, but he's not as raw as as an up-and-coming striker you might have from the Championship. He has proved himself to be a really interesting profile of striker that can play in the Premier League. He's quite mobile. He's quite tall. He's good on the link-up play. His movements in and around the box is really good. What I would say about this is, and I can't really sit here and say he's the perfect striker for Manchester United when I barely watched him, but what I would say is, from what I've seen of him, if Erik ten Hag said that's the striker I want because I can turn him into the next, Cavani or Benzema or whatever, then buy him. If we went for Rasmus Højlund this summer and we didn't go for Osimhen and we didn't go for Sesko and we didn't go for Harry Kane, I'd be really excited. These are the sort of players that I would be excited about, because Ten Hag has proved himself, certainly at Ajax and at Manchester United, that he can develop a player. And if he sees a player like that and goes, that player is going to be the next Haaland or the next Benzema in the next 5 years, let's go and get him, then I'd be all over that. I don't know how true it is that we're looking at a player like this, but it can only be a positive that there are so many options out there. And again, a 20-year-old striker, I mean, I don't know how much he would watch. I don't know how much it would cost. Let me know in the chat what you think. I mean, he's 20 years of age. He's only signed for them a year ago. And he is currently, I think he's got a 5-year contract. Alfred says watch his game for Denmark against Finland. But look, he has got links to Manchester United, so it's worth just throwing it in. We'll see if anything happens about it in the future, but the chances of Atalanta being in the Champions League next season are probably quite slim. I mean, I think they're currently 3 points off fourth, but Juventus are coming up hard behind them, even with their points deduction. They may not be in Europe at all. So look, on the other hand, he's a young player that might not need to leave Atalanta this summer. Maybe they want to keep him for another year. But it's certainly a player to keep an eye on. So yeah, let's see what happens with Højlund, whether he is linked to Manchester United or not. He's definitely an interesting striker. Greg wants Evan Ferguson. I mean, I'd prefer Evan Ferguson because I know more about him and he's playing in the Premier League, and that's why we know more about him. But again, and I said it on stage in Manchester on Thursday, the midfielder I would go for is Frankie de Jong, because it's the player that Erik ten Hag wants. If Erik ten Hag wants Ferguson or he wants Højlund, go and get him. That's what I would say to the board. Go and get them, because I think the manager has earned that right to be trusted on those sorts.